This is the structure we elucidated in 1964, and this is what we published. This is THC. In the early 60s, I decided we can do some interesting work trying to isolate the active compound, trying to see what are the other compounds, and starting some biological work. Then it turned out that cannabis contains a huge amount of compounds of the same type, and they were tested after we isolated and were able to separate them from the extract, that only one compound, tetrahydrocannabinol, we proved the structure, only one compound had the psychoactivity that we expected. Many scientists started working on cannabinoids, but in the middle 80s, a group in the US found that there is a receptor, structure in the brain. The THC binds and the reactions start.
Dr. Howlett found in the brain a specific receptor for THC. It was named the CB1 receptor, cannabinoid receptor number 1.
Now that was a major discovery in the mid-80s. So here we had, for the first time, an indication that THC acts on a receptor. Now, receptors do not exist in our brain because there is a plant out there. Receptors exist because we make compounds which stimulate these receptors. And we first found in 1992 a compound which we called anandamide compound, the endogenous compound that activates the receptor. We called it anandamide because in Sanskrit ananda means happiness, and we thought that, well, maybe this is the major compound involved in happiness, and it is involved in all those things that cannabis is, we know to be involved. So here we have a compound in the plant, and here we have a compound that we produce. Thousands of publications and research done on these compounds because they are very central. They are involved in essentially all human diseases. And now I would like to end with something that's really crazy speculation. Each one of us has a different personality, and we have no idea why. Why do we have different personalities? Well, and we don't know why we have different personalities. One way of explaining it is there are several hundred compounds, endocannabinoid-like compounds. They are like anandamide in their chemical structure that are present in the brain, and it is quite possible that each one of us has a different, slightly different level of these compounds. This is genetic. This is based on the different DNA of everybody, but DNA doesn't affect the personality. It is the compounds that are formed from DNA through RNA. It is quite possible that differences in the endocannabinoid system and the cannabinoid-like system can have something to do with the different personalities. Well, that's a very complicated story, but it may work.